These technologies include artificial intelligence, which is AI, blockchain, the Internet of Things, to name a few. And these technologies hold a promise to reshape the industries, redefine business models, and enhance quality of life. However, they also present unique challenges related to privacy, security, and ethical considerations. It is imperative that we strike a delicate balance between fostering innovation and safeguarding against potential risk and abuses. So this requires a collaborative effort amongst us as policymakers, at least for me, colleagues, as a policymaker, industry leaders, academia, and civil society to develop frameworks that promote responsible innovation and ensure that these technologies serve the common good. And colleagues, I need to mention that in my younger days, I did engineering. And, as I transversed through my career, I find, some other things that are quite interesting in life. Currently, I'm a student of future studies. I'm doing my MPhil. And this area, of emerging technologies is one of the areas that create excitement, but also, anxiety as well. So my research topic for the MPhil is the future scenarios for the impact of generative AI in the digital government ecosystem. So I'm currently doing digital government in the department, but now I'm trying to see what will be the future of generative AI in terms of this digital government. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we can position ourselves for the future as well, but also try to see how then these technologies can be used ethically in terms of developing solutions that can serve the country. But also central to our discussions today, it is imperative that we not leave away digital inclusion. While the internet has the potential to empower individuals and bridge digital divide, millions of people around the world still lack access to basic digital tools and resources. This digital divide exacerbates existing inequalities, perpetuating socioeconomic disparities, and marginalizing vulnerable populations. So as we chart a path forward, we must prioritize efforts to bridge this gap, ensuring that everyone has equal opportunities to participate in the digital economy, access to essential services, and exercise their rights online. So this requires investments in digital infrastructure, initiatives to promote digital literacy, and policies that foster innovation in underserved communities. So from the department, we are trying to work on these, colleagues. So the delivery of SA Connect, we are trying to accelerate that one. But also we do have a strategy, which is National Digital and Future Skills Strategy that looks onto the technologies and the training that we need to do to our communities. But also we do have the Digital Economy Master Plan as well as the ICT SMME strategies. And from the Digital Economy Master Plan, and I think there are enough young people here, this will resonate to them as well, because what we say there in terms of the big bets for the digital economy, we see that the areas that South Africa can drive through is transformative tech applications. And I think on this one, colleagues, I need to mention that, there are a lot of applications that are getting developed and we become consumers. And I think we do have an opportunity to start developing our applications. Like I normally make an example of, like Uber. Uber is just an application, colleagues. And anybody who can code can develop this app. And now everything that Uber does, the revenue and everything, they go to the US and all over the world, and South Africa is not really benefiting. And this is something that as young people, we can start looking and say that, how can we develop these solutions and make them custom-made and homemade? So it's transformative tech applications, physical technology production, digital traded services, as well as digital platforms. So these are the areas that we say that in terms of the Digital Economy Master Plan, they're the areas that we're gonna see, huge growth, and we need the young people, and especially the people in this room here that can drive these as well. So furthermore, we cannot overlook the paramount importance of digital safety and cybersecurity in an increasingly interconnected world. With the proliferation of cyber threats, online harassment, and misinformation, ensuring the safety and security of the internet users is paramount. This necessitates a comprehensive approach encompassing cybersecurity awareness campaigns, investment in robust digital infrastructure, as well as effective legislation, and international cooperation to combat cybercrime. So by working together to strengthen our digital defense, we can create safer and more resilient digital ecosystem that safeguards the rights and freedoms of all internet users. So as I conclude, Program Director, so the South African Internet Governance Forum serves as a critical platform for dialogue, collaboration, and collective action on pressing issues shaping our digital future. By bringing together stakeholders from government, civil society, academia, industry, and technical community, we can help develop holistic solutions that address the complexities of the digital age. So these discussions today and the next 2 days should be a catalyst and provide guidance for policy formulation. But I'll take you to task on that. Together, let us harness the transformative power of the internet to build a more prosperous, equitable, and inclusive digital society for all. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Honorable. I think it's safe to say all protocol has been observed. So the next segment of our agenda or our program is a paper presentation, and the topic of this is ChatGPT. Should we be AI afraid? Oh, okay. I think I'm mixing the jargon. I see what's written there, and then, yeah, there's a bit of jargon, and then, yeah, so should we be afraid? Advocate Dennis Rampomani. Please welcome him on stage. He is the co-founder and CEO of WRM. So I expect to be a little bit more confused after the phrase afraid or the word afraid. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Before I trample on any toes, all protocols observed. My name is Advocate Dennis Rampomani. I'm an AI and intellectual property law specialist. This is more poetic license than anything because ChatGPT, Gen AI, should we be afraid? It's a play on words with the AFR.ai and then D. So yeah, afraid. A brief background. I'm alumni of the NWU. I did my pupillage in 2017, specialized in intellectual property, did my master's with UNISA, and I did a short course with GIZ, the German Institute of German International Corporation, and was facilitated by University of Johannesburg in NIMISA. And my paper is on artificial intelligence and music royalties. I open with this quote from one of the forefathers, Alan Turing. He says, if a machine can think, it might think more intelligently than we do. And then where would we be? Majority of every Tom, Dick, and Harry only caught wind of AI with the introduction of the ubiquitous use of ChatGPT in the last year. For those who don't know, ChatGPT is a form of generative artificial intelligence. Before we define what Gen AI is, let's define what AI is. Well, basically AI, simply put, is the utilization of computers to augment or better mankind's day-to-day lifestyles or activities. Gen AI, however, is a type of AI, artificial intelligence technology that broadly describes, machine learning systems capable of generating text, images, code, or other types of content, often in response to a prompt entered by a user. Gen AI models are increasingly being incorporated into online tools and chatbots that allow users to type questions or instructions into an input field upon which AI model will generate human-like responses. Case in Kasu, ChatGPT. ChatGPT was formally introduced to the world in November 2022. The first week, ChatGPT garnered 6 million users. At the end of November 2022, it had 152.7 million. That's basically just a few million above Russia's population. Over the course of the next 3 months, GPT garnered about 6 billion users, which is America, Indonesia, Nigeria, Russia, and Iran combined. In a year, GPT managed to replace a plethora of artists, because I do work on it, copyright law, from voiceover gigs to cast members. The AI actors called synthespians now, script writers, even music artists, performances, compositions, displaced jobs, especially admin functions, and some jobs became obsolete. If a facet of AI can do this, imagine what an advanced AGI or superintelligence would do. We'll cover this probably in one of the the sessions in the main event. Pardon me. Universities and lecturers complain that there's such an abuse of GPT has led to cheating, plagiarism, and it also takes away students' ability to think and critically think and apply themselves. This was mentioned by the Vice Dean earlier. In corporates, CEOs, managers, and normal employees, even lawyers, have resorted to the usage of GPT for admin purposes, repetitive tasks, bookkeeping, and even auditing. With lawyers, however, the usage of artificial intelligence in litigation has been flagged in the US and in South Africa. In the US, in the case of Marta versus Yavianka, a lawyer in the personal injury case, Mr. Schwartz, was over 30 years experience in practice, utilized AI in his research in legal cases and these researches, basically. The GPT subsequently hallucinated and gave bogus precedents. Interesting fact, GPT 3.5 utilizes the actual denotation or definition of hallucination. I tried this out a few weeks ago. It hallucinated and gave me bogus precedents. It apologized repeatedly, and I wish this was the same for most of my exes. Mr. Schwartz subsequently confessed, and the judge said that there's nothing inherently improper in lawyers utilizing artificial intelligence for assistance, but caution that lawyer ethics rules impose a gatekeeping role on attorneys to ensure accuracy of the filings. In South Africa, lawyers arguing a defamation case at a regional court in Johannesburg were called out for using fake precedents generated by ChatGPT. The presiding officer berated the lawyers, stating that they were simultaneously overzealous and careless. The regional magistrate Chaitram said the following: the embarrassment associated with this incident is probably sufficient punishment for the plaintiff's attorneys. Now, for those who got experience in law, know that work of this nature will award us punitive cost damages or punitive costs in any of the courts, from magistrate to the high courts. Some of the reasons stated in both cases in GPT aren't 100% correct. The same goes for other GenAI or LLM tools such as Llama and Bard. I must add that my preference is Bard because it uses real-time searches to obtain information. This is me 2 weeks back. I haven't tried Mistral Large, which was introduced recently. Gemini, no Gemma. Further, GPT-3 and 3.5 are trained on historical data and information obtained up and until September 2021. Going back to the legal profession. As being part of such a noble profession, it is incumbent on all lawyers to do thorough research and on case law and legal principles, and they should apply their minds. This cannot be overemphasized. This is also mentioned in our code of conduct for LPs, legal practitioners, candidate legal practitioners, and even juristic entities. So, big question, what about AI SDGs and AU 2063 goals? It is said that GPT uses half a liter of water per 5 queries. In a similar vein, blockchain uses water from an Olympic-sized pool per transaction. Both examples fly in the face of the UN SDG goals 6 and 12 and AU 2063 Agenda 4. The next segment of the paper was supposed to be on AI in elections, but I know young people are, regarding concentration, attending lectures and webinars and seminars for too long, so. Well, just the broad overview on AI and elections, especially forthcoming elections in a lot of countries this year, is how AI shouldn't fly in the face of the EU Act, of policies, in our backyard. Yes, basically. And Mr. Legoz also mentioned the issue of infrastructure in South Africa. This also flies in the face of UN SDG goals and AU 2063 goals. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't want to bore you guys further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just wanted to check, are you taking any questions? Would you like to take questions? Okay. Do we have any questions before he comes on the stage? Yes, we do have questions. Do we have a roaming mic? Can we get someone to roam the mic? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? I wanted to raise a question as to say now, if we were to use, seeing as how well we are going to be using and interacting with the internet most of these days going on forward, I want to know that if our identities, or let me say my profile up on the internet, gets hacked, maybe say by AI, and then it uses me, my profile as a person, as to say now, it can use me, my profile, to buy whatever or purchase whatever things that it needs or wants under my name. So how can we best ensure that the safety of, how can I say this, identical hacking can be, how can I say this, can be stopped? Yeah.
That is an interesting but difficult question. Yeah. I see my supervisors in the audience have to tread carefully. But that's more cyber related. So look, Big Man is the Firewalls Institute. What's his implement your honeypots council? Am I on the right track? Can she please assist me? Actually, you guys need to hear her, please. I need her to assist.
As a military, I'm here for top cover. I think one of the things, firstly, can you just clap for my expert? We have youth that is really doing stuff at master's level, courtesy of the 150 years old university, UNISA. I want to say one of the issues that we must be alive to, which is what he's raising, is the issue of cybercrime and cybersecurity. By the way, I'm a student of AI in Nigeria, and I attend classes, and they are far ahead. The issue of cybersecurity is the one that we still need to debate. You'll be here when I'm presenting on data adequacy. Then you'll understand the issues that are sacrosanct to acting DG in terms of how do we deal with this space of AI sovereignty vis-a-vis data sovereignty. And there are still unresolved issues that we must deal with. But at 3 a.m. when I was reading acting DG, there's a paper that I read that says we must be happy because AI is here. AI is going to sense, to surveil, speaking militarily, the hacking before it happens. Remember generative, wait for my class. Remember generative AI has deep learning. It has taken machine learning, but it has begun to actually want to be a human, though it cannot be a human, and begin now to take what is there and project into the future of what should be there in future and begin to act. So they hack before they hack. So I'm saying to you, if as South African youth we are serious, as a specialist in cyber law and data and AI, I implore you that we start with these things. Can we have South African model of these things? Can we have South African, made in South Africa of these things? Because when we do that, we will first deal with issues of security, data security. And we deal with issues of AI sovereignty. Because without an infrastructure that is yours, you must forget. And linked to what he is saying, I think we need to do more study. I'm happy that our own UN representative on AI for Africa, our own Professor Snail, who is going to be here. So be here till the third day. He's going to be here. You will ask him, what are you doing to make sure that what we have in terms of papaya, in terms of the EU directive, an equivalent exists in terms of AI. And the truth of the matter is that the brains are here. The papers that you are going to write will shape South Africa. We don't need don't need EU policy to define our AI policy in South Africa. We need customized policies. And that's why some of us are here to say, young people, please save us from ourselves. We need to benchmark with Africa. We need emerging technologies in Africa, not a copyright, a copy and paste of something somewhere, and then we react. I hope I've answered you that the solution is in you. Thank you.
If I may, if you guys want to do your postgraduate in law, that's your supervisor. Big man, can I add on that from an AI perspective? Regarding identity, are you still with me, big man? Hello, big man, are you still with me? Regarding identity, right? We're going to, everything right. We're going to basically in the digital age. The FICA Amendment Act classifies your virtual assets. Well, it classifies biometrics as virtual assets, or crypto as virtual assets, NFTs. So if you're going to do this, sorry, Council, before you answer me, I'm answering Big Man at the back. So regarding your identity, the question I posed in the AFBAR conference held at UNISA in August 2023 with my supervisor, I asked the question: if that's the case, then what about our sovereignty? What happens to identification? Does it belong to the government, or does it belong to you? Any further questions?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Fine, thanks yourself.
Great presentation. I don't have a question. I just have a comment that we need to talk more, because I'm currently a master's candidate and advocate.
It's Aruba.
Yes. Prof. Snail is my supervisor. Nice. Yes, he's my supervisor. So, and also my dissertation is on intellectual property. My topic for my dissertation is the legal position of copyright infringement with the influence of artificial intelligence in South Africa. So I need to tap your brain on that as well, since you are a specialist in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Great presentation. My question is basically on sustainability. You talked about blockchain using the size of Olympic-sized swimming pool. Do you think it's sustainable in South Africa? We're talking about having these technologies used, AI, blockchain introduced in Africa. Is it sustainable in South Africa? Thank you.
It's not. We're still dealing with infrastructure. We have there was a on the news the other day, right? The swimmers SA can't even make it to the Olympics because they can't afford the generators. Do you understand? So imagine now, don't know water in as an Olympic-sized pool. How are we going to afford to replace that same water to generate things like blockchain in South Africa? So I don't think we're there yet. But I must trade on on safe grounds because my seniors are here. Thanks for the question. I'm not a prof, I'm just an advocate, big man. Pardon? I want to see you after coffee.
Hi, Advocate. Yeah. Thank you so much for the presentation. I would just, my question, I guess, is in terms of, I'm also like a member of the noble profession. So I wanted to find out just in terms of, because we can see AI is here, some businesses are actually implementing it now, and we've also seen some of the harms that are sort of rising from that use and implementation of AI. So now, in South Africa, is it more of in guiding both public and private organizations in sort of navigating this space? Do you think that we could stand, I mean, in terms of we should take the approach of adopting or rather developing regulations, policies to deal with this AI that's here? Or for now, because I think we haven't fully explored what, again, the implications are going to be from like a legal perspective, is it a matter of just for now taking guidance in terms of industry regulations, in terms of best practices, international best practices, or should we shift our focus to more on we should be developing our own policies now, our own AI strategy now? Is it a matter of, so like in terms of guiding clients as well, say we have a business that wants to implement this, so how do we sort of, what would your approach be, your preferred approach be in that instance?
Look, the whole world is looking to the EU Act because EU is basically the first block that established an AI Act, and then everyone follows suit. Councillor, stand to be corrected. I think Nigeria, Rwanda, I think even Kenya, they're utilizing the EU AI Act as their guidance. So let's start with the EU Act and see what we do in our backyard. But I know it's a difficult one, especially with clients.
Can I just come in? Just a quick one. Yeah, there's a couple of things that we need to do. Last week I was on another conference and someone was saying that probably we need to wait while we develop policies and regulations. But the problem is these technologies, whether we wait or we don't wait, they are coming in. So I think then we need a multi-approach to say that while they are coming in, from our side as policymakers, we start the process of policy development, which is what I've been advocating in the department as well, to say that we need to start the process of policy development, because we don't want to be caught napping when these technologies are here, especially when you look on AI as a general purpose technology, which means it affects all sectors of our economy. So which means that if we're gonna stay and wait and see how it works and everything, then we're gonna be, the whole South Africa can be taken upside down. So we're trying to avoid that. So that's why then, from the government point of view, we're trying to say that, okay, let's start with the policy development now as it is. Thanks.
Thank you for that, DDG. One thing that council, I attended the AI Expo Africa last year, and Minister Ngugubelo was there, and Ali Mashishi, yes, chief of staff. Ali was there as well. So these are the conversations that we're having: collaboration, because you need industry, you need public-private institutes. If not, then yeah, we'll be behind the curve as it is. So yeah, thanks for that, DDG. I think that's about it.
Hi, I just wanted to go back to the question that the gentleman asked over there about sustainability. I think as South Africa also, we need to start developing a policy on digital greening, because there's a lot that happens. We need to begin to understand the impact that technology and connectivity is having on the environment. I think we are still a step behind in that regard. And also, I think once we develop this this policy, it will assist us also to ensure that people don't dump equipment in South Africa, because you take the analogy of refurbished computers that are sent to South Africa, and they have a lifespan of 2 years. What do we do with the e-waste as South Africa? Because once we have this policy, for me, that would mean that we have a policy and then we say stop bringing these computers to South Africa, because then it becomes a problem of how to dispose of those. But so I think a green digital policy is really needed in South Africa.
Thank you.
Hi. Actually, following up on the sustainability and digital sovereignty, I'm actually going to throw the two together. In order to have digital sovereignty, you kind of need to have control of the hardware. You mentioned that. All of the platforms that you sort of mentioned, Gemini, ChatGPT,
Gemini,
etc., these are all cloud-hosted mechanisms. They're distributed. They're not in a single jurisdiction. The sheer number of GPUs we're going to be needing if we want to do it domestically is a huge question. And of course, digital sovereignty questions also, have a micro level matter as well. Should we be kicking council out of their chambers and installing GPUs so that the client data is isolated from the rest of the world? I'm just wondering whether you see this as primarily a matter that can be policied out, or whether economics will win in the end. The way I see it is, the economics of it is that dedicated hardware makes generative AI prohibitively expensive, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Which means that every use of generative AI that finds mass adoption is on hosted systems. Now, I'm in full favor, and I would see a huge value in trying to get data center capability in this country that's properly greened out and so on and so forth. But we're not going to be able to, if we were to criminalize, the use of hosted generative AI capabilities in certain contexts, we're just going to have fuller jails. I don't see any policy position that will prevent people from, doing what people are going to do. So I'm just wondering whether you see that as something we can tackle in any sort of a policy context, or whether we need to have incubatory policies that facilitate at least having some insight and control over what's happening and some participation at the table, or whether we need to figure out where our priorities are in digital sovereignty.
Look, I dabble on both fences, what you just said, but our scene is in front, just eloquently put. We're on the right track, hopefully, in the near distant future. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nompumelelo Ntlapo. I'm from YEF Online Education. So, as a student, I have a question that what is the best way to make sure that AI used in an education concept has an access to data that is accurate and unbiased as possible? How can we use AI to address major challenges in education, including issues of quality and inclusion? How can we mitigate and the potential negative impacts of AI on education?
Well, thank you for that. It's quite a broad question and comment. Our seniors have answered, gentlemen has answered, but look, our guide is basically the global north. From the global north, we've got the AU, pardon me, UN SDG goals. UN SDG goals, we've got the AU 2063 goals. So all these are going to be our guides, and then we can forge a path forward. I don't want to usurp anyone's powers. I honestly don't want to usurp anyone's, but it's a conversation we have.
Good morning. My name is Dompel Narsi. I'm from Department of Economic Development. I just wanted to confirm something with your paper presentation. So have you looked into how AI is going to be replacing jobs? As it is, we have a job shortage in the country. So have you actually looked into this and seen how AI will replace jobs and how we can actually integrate current students, youngsters that are coming out of university now?
No, 100% I have. Look, I didn't expound on it on the paper, but I'm going to sit on the panel with Prof. Sneed on Friday. So we'll discuss it on Friday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. I think just to add on to that, oh yes, we can give him a round of applause. I think also just to add on that, yes, Advocate, I think just to add on to that, we have sessions coming up. And I think I might have failed you with the program. There was load shedding. But there's 3 panels for today, and immediately after our morning tea and coffee, we've got issues of AI, and it will address inclusivity, employment, development. So all these questions, we can also just save them for the panel if they are not covered by the panel that will be in front. But I would like to okay, apologize for any hands that I missed, but we are going to have a very long day where we'll be discussing all the issues that we would like to discuss. Everything will be ironed out. And I would like to just applaud the youth for being present. I would like to close here and we go for the morning tea. I think there are certain people who are really specific about 11 o'clock. So can we get that 11 o'clock in, and any questions or any additions, can we save them for after our morning tea? But before we go, I would like you to look at the person next to you and say, I look forward to seeing you after tea. And if you're not sitting next to anyone, please hold yourself and tell yourself that I will do better. Thank you, colleagues. Can we go for tea? And I will see you after the break. Okay, 1, 2. Welcome back. How was our morning tea? Are we all fine? Okay, and did we find the restrooms? Everything is good?
Recording in progress.
Are we all fine? Okay, thank you. We're going to start with session 1 of our panel discussions, and we've got 4 delegates. 3 are panelists, and then we've got a moderator. So I'm going to invite them to come in front. I will just call out their names, and then can we please applaud them as they come on stage? And then before that, I was requested to ask you to please register for tomorrow. So if you're not registered for tomorrow, can we please register for tomorrow? We are in an internet governance forum, so I'm sure we know how to utilize the QR code, right? So we can just scan the QR code and then it will open, and then you can register online. And then also, if you were not registered today, can you just verify if you're registered for tomorrow? So tomorrow, if you are not registered today, or if you don't have a tag, I was informed that it's gonna be difficult for you to come in. So please, can we ensure that we register, and then during the other break, when you have time, just go to the registration desk to check if you are registered. Thank you, colleagues. We are going to start with session 1. And the topic for session 1 is addressing inclusivity in the AI era, challenges for previously disadvantaged groups in employment, development, and education. And first up, I would like to invite Ms. Dimakatso Masiteng. She is the head of ICT at National Youth Development Agency. Please, can we give a round of applause for her as she comes on stage? And then I would also like to invite Mr. Tabang Mkuma. He is the technical advisor for 4th IR at MICT CETA. Please welcome him. And then I would like to invite Ms. Kim Patoli. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Youth ICT Council. Please welcome her. And lastly, to the stage, I would like to call Ms. Busisiwe Matonzi. She is the Regulator and Compliance Manager at ZA Domain Name Authority, and she is our moderator of the session. Please. Okay. Can you pass on the mic? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Program Director. It is an honor to be invited as a moderator in front of people that understand AI more than I do, so I get to shoot the questions and also get to answer the questions that were in the room earlier on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In short, can I do all protocol observed in the interest of time? This is a very interesting topic because what it brings about is the societal issues that we have as a country when we need to move on and be aligned with other countries in terms of AI. These are just things that perhaps we think they are not important to look into, but really they drive the economy, they drive the society. And what AI has really done is to play a role in how we play, learn, and interact with each other. And what this means, it changes the way we live. I think Advocate Nsaluba said it earlier on and other colleagues. And it is important that we have a discussion of trying to find out, besides these points, what are the deep issues, and particularly the deep issues, or issue rather, is the issue of inclusivity. Inclusivity this time by saying you and me as human beings. How do we include each other in this very, very important topic? We have had the likes of the 4IR Commission bringing in solutions, institutions. So we somehow have a bit of infrastructure here and there, but are we being included in the process when it comes to education, development, and such? So without wasting much time, I'm going to ask our 3 panelists here to just give us a brief introduction of what they do. The reason is very simple. It's because it's a room full of youth with ideas, startups, people who are in the area, and maybe they might want to tap into the great resources that we have here. Maybe we can start right at the end, coming to my what? Left, right? Left. Yes,
It's
thank you.
Good morning. I hope it's still morning. So yeah, I'm Dimakatso. I'm from the National Youth Development Agency, which is NYDA. I head the IT department there. So yeah, so basically I just do anything IT related. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, colleagues. Good morning, young people. Good that you have a young person here who's representing you guys. Yeah, my name is Tabang Mkuma. I'm the technical advisor for 4IR at the MICT CETA. So the MICT CETA is one of the 21 CETAs established in terms of the Skills Development Act. And our core mandate, simply as the MICT CETA, is develop skills around the media and ICT sector. So within the MICT CETA, we have a dedicated 4IR department, which is then tasked or mandated to develop skills, especially around 4IR. So I'm just gonna share a bit on that, but yeah, that's in a nutshell what we do, but I'll then deep dive into exactly the specifics throughout the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. My name is Kimonelwe Kim Paturi, also a young person. I'm the CEO of the National Youth ICT Council, and I'm also an entrepreneur in the ICT space. The National Youth ICT Council is an independent non-profit organization, and we focus on bridging the gap for young people in ICT in the country and becoming a mouthpiece and a representative for young people in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to the panelists. I hope you're taking notes who's who doing what in the... Thank you so much. So I think the question really wants to address the impact that AI has in education, development, and employment. Stats SA, I think about 2 weeks ago, says that the unemployment rate went to 32.1%, and youth are afraid of tapping into AI-related opportunities because also they are not sure what the future brings. So it's the uncertainty. Then we have got the development impact as well, where a lot of AI is being integrated in different areas, taking away the ideas of administrative technical jobs, and also the issue around environmental sustainability. This one I would like to throw it to Kim. Kim, what do you think really, what is the impact of AI in terms of enabling us as the youth, considering our context as South Africa?
Okay, thank you very much for that. I think the word impact is a word I shy away from a bit because we are yet to measure the impact, right? But I think from our observations, we can see some of the developments and changes taking place. So just a brief example, I think AI is one of the most important technologies for us to leapfrog our young people in terms of skills and development, in terms of economic participation, in terms of building their professional lives as well as businesses, right? And the reason I would say that as a brief example, I matriculated, I will not tell you when, but it's not that long ago. And in matric, I received a distinction for computer applications technologies, and what they were teaching us is Microsoft Word. And I got a distinction without a laptop, which was very funny, right? Coming to think of it. And of course, I didn't take that path because I was misinformed. I did not have enough information as to what career I could get into, what my business would look like. And fast forward, moving to Johannesburg, I got exposed enough and got into business. Now, when you look at what AI does, got into business, took a couple of years learning just the landscape. And now, a week ago, I built my own app because I had ChatGPT and I couldn't code. I don't know how to code. I can't write a single piece of code. ChatGPT sort of facilitated my learning in a short space of time for something that I wanted to build as a solution. So the impact for me looks like leapfrogging, right? And if done well and governed well, it does drive inclusivity, because now you can go to the grassroots where young people actually are and provide them with the supports of technology, enablement, and development and training so they can participate effectively on the digital landscape. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thabang, leapfrogging inclusivity within skills for MICT SETA. What does it mean? How does it look like in terms of the impact there?
Thank you. I think let's start here. We need to admit to the fact that in the absence of digital skills, you will not be able to participate in this digital economy. This then brings out, at least mandates the MICT SETA to then develop or a response towards skill development, especially around these 4IR general purpose technologies, especially in AIR. So what we do then as the MICT SETA, or specifically as the 4IR division, is then ensuring that we include young people in this current industrial era. And how do we do that? One, we develop qualifications that speak to 4IR aligned technologies, but also then we then implement these qualifications that we develop, for example, AI software developer, then we then implement them through our learning programs. But to address the inclusivity question, here is what we're guided by integrated digital skill strategy, one that informs us, or at least instructs us to then equip at least one 4IR skill, young people in township areas or even rural areas with at least one 4IR skill, in a sense. This is also addressing the digital divide, one, but also the isolation or even the inclusiveness of young people as far as digital skills are concerned, in a sense. So we're informed by also a rural development strategy, which then seeks to be biased, in a sense, to direct and be intentional in terms of our skills development rollout, so that we can address those issues and skills that do not exist, especially in rural areas or even townships, in a sense. So that's what we as the MICT SETA have embarked on in rolling out various programs in addressing the skill shortage, but the digital divide, as well as ensuring that we include all races, all children and young people from all sectors of society, and even various demographics in society. So that's what we've done, in a sense, at the MICT SETA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thabang. Dima, in my mind, I'm thinking MICT SETA is trying to have an individual who has at least one skill of 4IR, right? But stats also show that 81%, for example, of grade 4 learners struggle with reading for meaning. That is over 80% of people that cannot comprehend. And what that really means, then there is a challenge for that one skill out of many other skills. And this even rolls up to the youth, to matric, to where we are right now. I was really pleased earlier on that when we're speaking of AI, a lot of people were nodding. So we might be preaching to somehow people that are converted, but I think they are agents of change because they were asking very, very important questions. So the question I have for you is, as the NYDA, you have a very, very straightforward mandate to say, here are our youth, give them a platform to become better within our economy. So how does AI really impact education for your mandate, and what are the things that you're doing to bring in, at least now we're looking for one, we're not looking for many, one 4IR skill. So if you can just give us a brief on that.
Okay, no, thank you, Busi. So I think as Busi expanded on NYDA, the reason why whenever I introduce it, I said National Youth Development Agencies, because we look at the wholesome development of a young person. And as you said it, if we have problems within the basic education, for example, we inherit those problems, because if now a grade 1 or a grade 4 cannot read, eventually NYDA inherits those problems I would also like to bring in the statistics of youth unemployment currently. We are sitting at 62%, which is also, worrisome, because now, as we develop certain programs to see how we can assist, then now we get a new, like AI, for example, into the picture, which means that we have to then relook certain programs that we are offering. Also, just to add to that, I was reading an article from IT Web, whereby as well a lot of programmers are losing their jobs because of people like him who can now code for themselves without a coding skills, which makes our computer science degrees, sort of like redundant. But just to come back to your question, Busi, what we do as the NYDA, we try to look at partnerships. We were at our stretch session just yesterday to see also how we can also forge a strong relationship with the private sector. So far, for example, we have a very great relationship with Harambe, which is a non-profit organization. They specialize in, jobs and opportunities. So with the NYDA, we find ourselves in a position whereby we have to sort of like satisfy all other elements, make sure that our youth are employed, make sure that they are skilled, make sure that they get the right education. So now, if you are a player and a participant in all these areas, sometimes you might fall short somewhere, somehow. Sometimes a certain program might be like a flagship program. For the longest time, for example, NYDA was known as like a funding program. That is because, young entrepreneurs, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for financial assistance. But we do more than that. We've got like a skills development program. Recently, because now we are in an urban area, as you said, people know already what AI is, right? So it's much easier to have this conversation and to dive into certain elements. So what we did, like now, we partnered with University of Limpopo. They have an innovation hub there, whereby, what Kim was saying, that you get a distinction in computer, but we have never touched a computer. So the idea there is to get our young people to go and interact with different facets, those innovative ideas, because sometimes we then reduce innovation hub into a computer lab, right? Because those are some of the problems that we are faced with as the NYDA, that leave alone also reading. People haven't seen or touched computers in their lives. So those are the things that we are doing through partnerships. So for example, in those innovation hubs, the role that we play is that we then also create a pathway for a young person. You have this brilliant idea that maybe, I don't know, you want to build a flying pen or something like that. Now that we are in AI, anything is possible. So once you take part in that part of program, we come in that, okay, once you have developed this, how do you then either commercialize it? How can we assist as the NYDA? Either through funding, right? Or through you also creating opportunities for other young people. Because remember, as we fund one entrepreneur, or as we scale one entrepreneur, we are hoping that you will then further expand what you have and participate and grow the South African economy. The last one that I'll touch on, I just want to make examples with rural areas, because sometimes with urban areas, it's much more easier. You've got access to a lot of opportunities. I mean, UJ itself, even University of TUT, Tshwane University of Technology, sorry, they are already in that partnership of 4IR. So really, they should know what AI is, right? So our executive chair did a campaign in KwaZulu-Natal, whereby they were taking some school kids in the rural areas to take them to different centers where we don't yet have a partnership, but we are trying to forge that particular partnership. Something as simple as virtual reality goggles, just for them to experience that really does sort of like shift their mindset in order to try and be enticed into participating in the economy. And then this also opens up the mind of a young person to think that, okay, it's fine, maybe I might be limited to South Africa, but through AI or through technology, I can be able to participate in the international economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are we getting the nuggets and writing them down? Mine is to probe for the nuggets. Thank you so much. I think the bigger question now in the room is, I've got different abilities, physical, cognitive, and so forth. And what we're speaking about here is touching and feeling and seeing devices, your laptops, your computers. And this then brings us to the question of, what are the challenges, particularly for discrimination and bias? Because sometimes we speak of discrimination, but we forget the bias in terms of our abilities to use technology and to use AI. And what that does, it limits an individual, 1, to learn, 2, to be employed, and 3, to even use technology in a different area or in a different spectrum, whether, for example, a banking app. Most of us here can log into banking apps and it's become second nature. You know, I know where to find my balance, you know, I know where to buy airtime. But we do have a group of people in South Africa that don't have the same abilities. And it's very interesting because statistics show that 39% of South Africans are aware of AI. But that 39 does not have people of different abilities. So the question will be, particularly for NYDA for this one, what are the mechanisms, for now I'm not looking for strategies, but rather mechanisms that are being employed to include people of disadvantaged backgrounds?
Okay, a great question, Busi. Before I answer this one, I'll just say myself, for example, I started in our curriculum, I started learning English in grade 3, for example. From grade 1, it was a native language, right? So I did English as a first additional language. So it starts there, the challenge starts there. So I'm from a rural area, I'm from Sekhukhune region. So now that means the dominant language there is now your native language in terms of learning. And then when we build these technologies, we use what? English. So sometimes you will look at a child who will just, you know, intuitively so be able to utilize a cell phone. So now when you grow into your early adult, you 16, 18, now you are youth, and then we give you this particular banking app. I think the first, the first fear or the first challenge that you must then overcome is that sometimes you don't understand the language, right? The first year of my varsity, it was similar to that. Coding, it was a little bit harder for me because, you know, first time seeing a computer, then we are using this intensive English language, you know, it wouldn't necessarily be as easier as somebody who maybe did English at school as their home language, for example. So what we are doing as well as the NYDA, obviously by the time people become our cohort, they are already from 18. But what we have done, we tried to take it down a notch to visit like primary schools and see how we can help them. So we've got a digital skills program, and then we've got also a life skills program. So what we do, we partner with different schools, and we start the education from there to see how we can be able to assist them, because we realize that a lot of issues emanate from digital literacy and also just from literacy as a whole. So those are the items that we are trying to do. And as I said before, partnerships with different stakeholders like your NGOs and also with the Department of Education, so that we try to address the root cause.
Thank you so much. CEO, I'll call her CEO so that we all know she's the CEO. CEO, now let's go into the solutions, because I see you've run out of time, and I'm sure there are a lot of burning questions within the room. How can we ensure equitable employment opportunities that are inclusive in AI, AI-related industries, particularly for our country?
Okay, thank you very much for that, Busi. Loaded question.
Loaded.
It's
We are also
loaded.
loaded here, right?
Considering the status of our employment right now and considering policies such as the digital nomad policy that has been introduced at the moment, right? So firstly, I would like to say that AI industry, I believe AI is infiltrating every industry, right? And is relevant to the transformation and disruption of every industry that we find. So I think starting off with that, looking at how we can use AI or looking at how we can, better foster employment in the country, I would start by saying our employment definitions, right? Starting there, because the opportunities that young people are presented with now to earn an income are quite different from what we've had previously. We have people on TikTok, for instance, earning more than somebody who's got a 9-to-5 job working at a bank, right? And how do we define that? How do we become inclusive about the opportunities young people can access from their homes? That's one. We've had hackathons where we've got young people who then receive job opportunities internationally, for instance, while working at home because they have a laptop and connectivity. And where do we bracket that? I think we are not, perhaps maybe because I'm not in policy and so forth, perhaps I'm not well informed, but we have to look at the digital transformation in the definition of employment and income earners and what we tax and don't tax. Are we taxing influencers or not? That's one. The second one is that when we look at what the Youth ICT Council is focused on, right, we focused on creating a skills transformation vehicle that is also going to be a global source for tech talent. So for instance, we live in a global platform, right? There's no more, I'm limited to South Africa, or I can only access so much. With the internet, you've got a global platform, and we are unfortunately in a global competitive space. So how do we take our innovators, number one, empower them, enable them, and legally protect them enough to participate in the global economy? If you're going to have an innovator that comes up with a concept, it might not be market ready for South Africa, but if you've got global platforms young people can access, like the World Economic Forum, which I'm also a part of, the Institute of Inventors, which I'm also a part of, and you can interact with your peers on a global level. How do we build that safe space for young innovators to export their best gifts and their best talents? And so I think positioning South Africa as a global source for